Well, here we've got a little beauty that is somewhat of an anomaly in my collection, because most of my machines tend to be German or American, and normally right at or before World War II. This one is a 1962 Brother Valiant, which is a Japanese machine. And, brothers kind of get poo-pooed a little bit in the typewriter community, and somewhat undeservedly. They came about later in the evolution of the typewriter, and, as is the case with a lot of the stuff that was manufactured by the Japanese in the 60s, 70s, and the 80s, was product of mass manufacturing, and so there were efforts made to keep it as lightweight and inexpensive as possible, which it sometimes led to, corners being cut, but, on this little machine, not so much. It's a full-featured machine. It has a touch selector right there. You can go from light to hard, and it works quite well. It's a very, very nice light touch there, and it's a hefty single-finger hunt and peck kind of stiffness there when it's all the way up. I keep it down there because I'm a touch typer. You have a two-color or three-position vibrator on it. You do have a stencil position because this machine is from the 60s, and they were still making stencils back then, mimeographs and whatnot. But those are features that you expect to see on a typewriter, and you'll find them on this one. The ribbon transport on it is similar to the Olympia system in that it's tension-based rather than having a grommet on there, and works quite well. Another interesting little thing that they have on there is a spring for the type bars. Once they actually hit the platen, it helps pop them back out. A little bit of extra speed on the return. Your margins on these are your typical push and move kind of slide margins, and they work really, really well. Nice little bell action. Got a really cute paper rest too. It's just super simple, a little piece of wire, and works quite nice. Gives it a cool little tail on there. I'll pop the top back on here. I had to replace those bushings for this, and I also replaced the little bushings under the space bar as well because they deteriorated. And hear how nice and quiet it is now. Before, it was hitting on the bottom of the machine, and it was just all ka-clunk, ka-clunk, ka-clunk every single time you hit the space bar, and that drives me nuts. And it's such an easy fix. So, yeah, 1962 Brother Valiant. It's got some nice lines on it too. I love the little indentation right there. It gives it a sleek look, like it's going to take off and fly or something. Do a little type test on it. See how she works. This is a 1962 Brother Valiant. Serial number M as in Mike 2192415, which the M on there is indicative of the month. So this one was made in December. The first digit on there is the year that it was made, the last digit of the year that it was made, which this variant of it was from the 1960s, and so you just kind of have to know, you got to be able to find when that particular model was made, like what era it was made, what decade. And then you can look at the serial number and tell exactly what year. So I know that this model was produced in the 60s, and since the first numeral in the serial number is a 2, I know it's a 1962. So there we go. 1962, Brother Valiant. Feeds paper really well. The platen and feed rollers are still in great shape. That's one of the things that I like about the Brother machines, Brothers and Websters and all those. The rubber's held up extremely well on them, and since most of them are newer machines anyway, it hasn't really had that much time to get old. So, on the black setting, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Nice quick response. to the keys. Prints extremely well. Very clear, very crisp. Switch to the red setting here. Now is the time for all good men to come to the aid of their country. I go a little slow when I'm trying to do the all caps on that. It's a bit of a workout on the pinky. So there it is, with its snazzy little inlaid front. Just pretty darn attractive, if you ask me. Very tasteful. 1962, Brother Valiant, in all its tiny glory. Cute, fun little typer.